The president issues executive orders about the second stimulus. But are they a hole-in-one? Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Evening's LALATE. Wow, what a day this has been. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be a 1-hour special edition of Evening's LALATE once again, as the President of the United States issued a series of executive orders on the second stimulus check. Great news. Late Saturday, and we're going to cover them. This video is part one of a 1-hour broadcast. The first video, this one, goes over the executive orders themselves and explains to you in detail what they cover and what they don't cover. So really fascinating, great news. The second video, coming up at 7:15 Pacific Standard Time, covers what's not included and how the other parts of the second stimulus package may now be teed up to get passed as well. It's a great day that started very sort of confusingly, and here we are. Let me get right to it. The President of the United States from New Jersey issued a series of executive orders late today. For clarification, these executive orders were issued after I recorded afternoon's LALATE. Let me get right to them. The President issued each executive order separately. First, there was one for payroll taxes. Second, there was one for student loan debt deferment. Third, there was one for FPUC. And finally, there was one for renters assistance. I literally have them in front of me. If you're asking a question about where is the one for FPUC, it had a very strange title. And I love the viewer's reaction to what happened this afternoon. While I was working on afternoon's LALATE, you got the press conference from the president, you got a copy of the executive orders yourself, you read through them, and you already had opinions about it. I love that. So let me get right to them. I'm not going to be covering the student debt one, and I'm not going to be covering the payroll tax one because it speaks for themselves. Rather, I'll be speaking about FPUC and rent assistance. First, FPUC. It has a strange title, if you didn't miss it. It's called Executive Order on Fighting the Spread of COVID-19 by providing assistance to renters and homeowners. That's the one for eviction moratorium. And then the next one is the moratorium on authorizing others' needs assistance programs for major disaster declarations related to COVID-19 diseases 2019. What a long title that one is. That one's the FPUC. First, let me get to the FPUC one, the one with the incredibly long title that doesn't have unemployment or FPUC anywhere in the title. If you're wondering about clickbait, that's it right there. It's like, what is that? I don't understand. Is that the FPUC one? Yes, it is. So let me get right to it. It talks about that the CARES Act allocated a certain amount of money. And then it goes into the Stafford Act. And you know what I'm actually doing is what I used to do with EIDL. I am doing a cold read with you because I've gleaned through it, but I haven't read it entirely. And it talks about people who lost wages during the pandemic. And it also talks about the issue of emergency. And it says that to help the needs of the American people during this unprecedented time, and according to the wage sections of one of the federal acts, he's authorizing the people of states and members to tribes and governors to authorize lost wages assistance programs. The government will request from FEMA a grant for lost wage assistance programs. The governor will administer the documents. For purposes of the memorandum, the eligible claimants means people who received benefits at least $100 per week, whether it's unemployment assistance, PUA, extended benefits, which is EB, or STC, or TRA, and SEA. So if you're already on PUA, you're already on UI, or you're already on EB, STC, or TRA, which I usually don't cover on this channel, this qualifies for you. If you're not on PUA already, if you're not on UI, the executive order doesn't cover you. The authority vested in the Secretary acting through the FEMA administration approves lost wages. Let me cut right to what you're wondering about. The executive order calls for a $400 per week calculation for FPUC. Not $600, not $200. More about that in a second. Additional assistance. The Secretary of Labor shall provide additional assistance in accordance with the states. The lost wages program described in this memorandum will expire on December 6, 2020, or when the balance of $25 billion runs out, whichever is first. And there you go. Signed, Donald Trump. No date or location provided. Unlike the other executive orders that actually listed the White House. So what's going on, LALATE? And let me explain to you what this executive order means and what it doesn't mean. So the executive order calls for an extension of FPUC, even though it doesn't even use the name, the extension of FPUC at $400 a week. This is for people who are already on PUA/UI. If you're not on PUA/UI, it doesn't qualify for you. The $400 a week has a very complex calculation. A lot of you are already jumping in the comments where the federal government provides part of it, and then the states provide the other part of it, and the states don't want to provide it, then they don't have to provide it. You know what this is doing? Yeah. It's sort of like where Phaedra's told to stop bringing up the African tycoon billionaire to Kenya, and she brings it up again. Steve Mnuchin has been told by the states to stop bringing up these complex calculations because state computer systems can't do them. And once again, here I am at, what is it, when this broadcast is at 6:45 Pacific Standard Time, he's once again telling states to do complex calculations. They can't do it. I mean, I don't know why Steve Mnuchin can't understand this. States have advised him they cannot do these complex calculations. The state computers for unemployment assistance are too antiquated, and advised him before he issued the first stimulus package with Mitch McConnell, after they issued this first stimulus package, this stimulus package with Mitch McConnell, the HEALS Act, that we can't do complex calculations. Give us a number and we can do the number, send the money from the federal government, and we'll send out the money. Here the claim is for states to do a robust calculation that involves you and me, and we divide it by 3. It sounds like a very bad Sesame Street rhyme. I did not intend that to rhyme there. And they can't do that. They literally cannot do that. And here we are once again back to that same problem. So, first of all, I would not expect on Monday morning you see the same states that last week said, stop it, Steve, stop giving these complex calculations, say we can't do this, or we're not going to do it. But here is the other parts to understand. One viewer dropped in the comments below, and I'm going to get right to the point. You're never going to see this FPUC. You know, it's sort of like Charlie and Charlie's Angels. You think you're going to see him and you just don't. You're never going to see this FPUC. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. And this is good news. This is not bad news. And this I'm going to explain to you in the second video why this is good news. The Monday morning, you're going to see several lawsuits filed. And they're going to be filed by state attorney generals. And you're going to see them filed by Democratic leaders, perhaps Democratic leaders of the House or the Senate. And they say that FPUC is unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. Well, I mean, not FPUC. This executive order is unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional for several series of reasons that are really black and white. I mean, it's not even a gray area. As that thing comes up from up behind my shoulder, don't say I have a flower in my hair. I do not. I do not. This is not that type of show. The first thing is that the president has no authority under the Constitution to send out money from the Treasury. All disbursements, sending out of money from the Treasury requires act of Congress. So, you know, as you sit this video and you're like, where's my stimulus check, LALATE? You know, why couldn't the president have issued me a stimulus check? Why is he doing, you know, mortgage forbearance? And why is he doing a payroll tax deduction, which is just, he actually can do payroll tax deduction, I think. But this one he literally cannot do. Nor can he do stimulus checks. He cannot say, Steve, send out 20 nice checks to my favorite citizens tomorrow morning. He can't do that. He has no authority to issue stimulus checks, no authority to issue FPUC money. He can't send out money. That's the way the Constitution is written. So that's that one thing. The second thing that's unconstitutional in the document is it calls for states to do things, and the president cannot order states by executive order for them to do things. He is here ordering states to do things for him. He can't do that. So there's that problem. So what's going to happen, LLA? Well, here's what's going to happen. Monday morning is going to be a series of lawsuits that go right to court. They'll seek a temporary injunction to stop the processing of this executive order. He has already indicated, the president himself, that he expects it to come. He says the lawyers have written it. Doesn't mean they're good lawyers. Just, his lawyers or someone's lawyers wrote them. No shade there. Phaedra write it? No. Did Phaedra write it? Oh boy, no shade, no. And it'll go to court on Monday morning, and it'll be invalidated. There'll be injunction issued against it right away, and it'll stop. Now, here is the interesting part about it: is whether the injunction really pushes the envelope and gets the deal done in the next couple days. That will be on the second video. Yeah, I'm going to tease it like that. Next, rent eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance. That's the one with this insanely long title. Moratorium on continued student loan payment relief during the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, that's harder to listen to than Nene's lyrics and her new rap song. Yeah, she's a rapper. So it's a very difficult title to understand, and when I read the document, it's just about as bad. It basically says that, first of all, here's the good news. The good news is it covers both mortgages and rent, which I know we were all worried about, because who on Friday, when he had his press conference, only mentioned rent eviction moratorium. He didn't mention mortgage forbearance, which is mortgages. It does cover both. The problem I don't like with this is it's really unclear. It literally doesn't say anything. It says, in light of the emergency of the pandemic, what he's going to do is he's going to, in light of the pandemic, what he's going to do is he is going to instruct agencies to address the situation. It's just like, what does that mean? What does that mean, Alan? I don't know what it means. The Secretary of Treasury, which is Stevie, and the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, shall identify all available federal funds to provide financial assistance to renters and homeowners as a result of the financial hardships. Okay, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's just they'll identify them. Will they send them out? Shall take action appropriate to promote the availability of renters and avoid evictions. This may include encouraging providing assistance of public housing authorities, affordable housing. In consultation, FEMA shall review existing resources to prevent evictions. And the function shall be consistent with state and federal law. Well, what is that? It's junk. No offense to him. More offense to the lawyers who wrote it. It's junk. It doesn't say anything. It literally does not say evictions are blocked. As I've done this video for a couple of days now. I said the executive order for eviction moratoriums would basically say all evictions are halted and stopped or terminated effective this date until January, December, whatever, November, signed Donald Trump. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say so ordered, all evictions are stopped. It manifests or window dresses itself like the front window at, Macy's on Christmas morning as an eviction moratorium, but when you open the door, it's not an eviction moratorium. It just says, we're going to have Ben Carson and Steve Mnuchin figure out what to do. What do you mean figure out what to do? It doesn't. So and here's the strange news. I'm not going to call it bad news. I'm not going to call it good news. The strange news is that when you read the document, his mindset might be to give you an eviction moratorium or mortgage forbearance so that you are not evicted from your home, or you don't lose your home to a mortgage foreclosure. But is that the type of document you think you could walk into court and say, hey, you can't evict me because of this document? It literally doesn't say anything. Now, so what's going to happen with that on Monday morning? I don't know. But I think that as soon as you hear enough analysts come on your national chat shows, they're going to tear it apart, rightfully so, because it's really not a clear document. There we go. Boy. So what's going to happen, LALATE? The great news is that these documents, those two that I went through and the two that I did not go through, are 4 executive orders that were issued today and are trying to get the parties to negotiate. And the parties will negotiate because of the impact of these documents. A lot of viewers have already dropped in the comments, which shows they're really lining up brain cells with me, and we're doing like a Vulcan mind melt to this point. We're all realizing what's happening here. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not a political move. Well, it's not a political move. It's really a move to get people to negotiate and get things done. And in the long run, this, which is not going to be long, I think it's just going to be a couple days, I think this is really, really good news. Coming up next on Evenings LALATE, I go over why this is good news and why this could be the impetus, the push, the movement to get your second stimulus check, to get hazard pay, to get FPUC actually done the correct way, and to get your rent eviction and foreclosure moratoriums done the correct way. That's coming up at 7:15 Pacific Standard Time. As always, stay motivated, stay inspired, stay informed, and stay with LA for more.